MicroStation Essentials, AccuDraw. AccuDraw is a precision input system. It allows you to enter distance information accurately. AccuDraw works with all tools for precision input and enables you to enter in distance information that allows you to draw your elements dimensionally correct. AccuDraw has its own system of shortcuts, AccuDraw Shortcuts, which help you draw precisely. AccuDraw has several different modes available to you, but the most common modes are rectangular and polar. Let's see how AccuDraw works within MicroStation. AccuDraw can be found in the primary toolbar. This will allow you to toggle AccuDraw on or off. You may also right-click on the icon for AccuDraw and look at AccuDraw properties. These AccuDraw properties or settings can be changed as needed. AccuDraw works with an AccuDraw window, and typically it is found docked at the bottom of your screen. For the purpose of this video, we're going to undock it and work with it separately. AccuDraw has the ability to enter in distance information. In this case, it's rectangular information, so you can enter in X or Y data. If I was in a 3D file, I would have the ability to enter in Z data. If I go to polar mode, AccuDraw would allow me to enter in distance information or angle information. AccuDraw is contextual. It understands what type of tool I'm using, so if I start to draw a rectangle or a block, it automatically switches me to XY mode. AccuDraw is very helpful regardless of what type of tool I'm going to use here. Let's take a look and see how it works a little bit more carefully. We're going to start by using a rectangle. So if I start to draw a rectangle, I'm in XY mode, and clearly a rectangle has an X and a Y orientation. So if I go in the X direction, you'll notice that the X field of AccuDraw highlights, and the red indicator here indicates that I'm in the X direction. If I go in the Y direction, the Y field highlights. So AccuDraw understands which direction I'm going. If I enter in data, all I need to do is type in the number. I do not need to backspace over the current number or hit the enter key to make the number take. It's an auto-enter, auto-fill field. So if I type in 1500, it automatically takes me out 1500 units from my origin point or my starting point. If I made a mistake and really wanted to enter in 2000, I simply backspace over and type in 2000. So this gives us some pretty decent feedback as to how far I am relative to where I started from. Once I start to move in the Y direction now, it automatically switches me to the Y field. And now it highlights the letter X in the AccuDraw window to indicate that the X value is locked in place. I can now enter in Y data, and I just need to use my left mouse button to accept or say yes, I want to create this block. So let's try that again. Start off, you can move in the X direction or the Y direction, and then move in the X direction in this case. And it's very easy to draw very precisely. So there's a 500 by 500 block. AccuDraw also works with circles and arcs and ellipses and allows you to enter in that data as well. So if I wanted to draw a circle whose radius is 100, that's all that's needed in this case, since I'm drawing a circle by center. AccuDraw works with all types of elements such as lines as well. So if I wanted to draw a line, it's a very straightforward kind of a thing. Now in this case you can see that AccuDraw has a feature called indexing. In fact, indexing is available with all tools when you use AccuDraw. So if I get close to the x-axis, it sort of snaps or indexes itself to that x-axis, and I'm kind of locked in place until I move farther away, very much like the AccuSnap feature. This enables me to draw orthogonally very quickly. And using a few shortcuts, It's very easy to draw very precisely. If I want to enter a skew line, then I can just enter in my x dimension and then push my cursor up, indicating that I've locked x in place. I'm now on the line x equals 1000, and I can enter in my y information. And now I'm drawing a line that is 1000 units long by 500 units high. The endpoint is. And we also see now that the AccuDraw compass rotates to the last two data points entered, once again allowing me to draw orthogonally to a skew system very easily. So AccuDraw is very helpful with many different types of operations. And AccuDraw has many shortcuts available to you. Let's take a look at a couple of important shortcuts. First, in order to activate an AccuDraw shortcut, the AccuDraw window has to be the active window, or the window with focus. So sometimes you might have focus on the tool settings window, or you might have focus on another window inside MicroStation. In order to use the AccuDraw shortcuts, the AccuDraw window must have focus. There's actually only one shortcut you need to remember. So put focus on the AccuDraw window and then press the question mark key on your keyboard. That'll be Shift // just like you're typing in a question mark on the end of a sentence. This will bring up a list of shortcuts. This is the shortcut to show shortcuts. So there's only one shortcut you need to remember, and that's the question mark key. There's a variety of different shortcuts here. Some important ones are the space bar, which will change mode. So in order to use the shortcuts, remember, you must have focus on the AccuDraw window. Now if I press the space bar, it will switch me to polar mode. Press the space bar again, it'll switch me back to rectangular mode. Another important shortcut is V for view rotation. This would be helpful if I'm drawing a skew line, and now I want to draw, again, parallel to the design XY axis. By hitting V for view, it automatically rotates the AccuDraw compass back to the design XY axis, or the view XY axis in this case. There are many other shortcuts available to you here. As you can see, the list is quite comprehensive. Some of them are helpful that enable you to activate a certain type of snap, like intersect, or nearest, or center. Change your snap divisor for key point. Many types of rotational shortcuts as well, to rotate to an element, rotate to a view, rotate to the auxiliary coordinate system, do a quick rotation. You can also do permanent rotations as well, and keep those rotations in place. Enter is a very helpful one. This will lock in your AccuDraw values. Let's take a quick look at how enter might work. So if I was drawing along here, and I wanted to come back, and I want to snap to that point, but I only want to pick off the X distance. I don't want to make it go askew. So all I do is hit enter on the keyboard. Now I can snap to that point, and it locked out X at 0, locked out the value at 0, and allows me to pick up the other dimension. Sometimes the compass rotates, so don't let that throw you. We're talking about direction, not dimension. And now I can finish off and draw that without having to think about what this distance was. The system allowed me to graphically pick off the distance. I don't have to numerically calculate the distance. After all, we're using a graphical system here, and this is a graphical way to enter in numerical data. AccuDraw has other types of indexing. We've seen that it has indexing to the axis. It also has indexing to the origin. So I get close to the origin, I'm taken to 0, 0. So you can see this in the AccuDraw window. Get close to the origin, I'm at x equals 0, y equals 0. So I can index or snap to the origin. I can also index to the last distance entered. So once I get a distance value entered, to get close to that distance, I get a bar that's perpendicular to the direction I'm drawing, showing me that I've hit that distance. So now I can draw pretty uniformly using that distance without much trouble at all. AccuDraw is a very powerful system. It has many different features available. There are many other things that you can do with AccuDraw. This is just an introduction to AccuDraw. So AccuDraw lets you draw very precisely by allowing you to enter the distance information accurately. AccuDraw will work with all of your tools, including things like copy. So if I wanted to copy something, I could use AccuDraw in this case to copy precisely. AccuDraw uses its own AccuDraw shortcuts to help you draw more precisely. And AccuDraw has modes such as rectangular and polar.